Hi everyone, we have a new presenter, Brother John Frain. He just joined the team. He's a little bit nervous, it's his first time, so maybe write something positive in the comments. Thank you, God bless.
Hi everyone, we're back with another episode of Church Headlines, your regular Catholic news recap. I'm Brother John Frain, happy to be joining the Church Headlines team. Let's dive right in. It's not every day that the Pope ends up trending alongside Duolingo's famous green owl. A few days ago, Vatican insiders spotted a Duolingo username Robert, whose handle is @DrPrevost, possibly referring to Cardinal Robert Prevost, logging over 30,000 experience points in just 48 hours. The lessons focused first on German and then on Italian, sparking speculation that Pope Leo XIV himself may have taken up language lessons as a symbolic gesture of unity with the German Church. The Pope is known for his language skills. He's fluent in English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, and Italian, and has long been able to understand German. Whether the Pope is really behind the profile or not, the idea of the successor of Peter brushing up on his language skills has captured imaginations worldwide, and perhaps inspired a few Catholics to finally open that Duolingo app again. I know he inspired me. In Spain, a Catholic priest has been found guilty of hate speech after publicly criticizing aspects of Islamic doctrine in an online article from 2016. The article was written by Father Custodio Ballester and was titled "The Impossible Dialogue with Islam." In it, Father Ballester argues that a real dialogue between Christianity and Islam is still unattainable under current conditions. The court ruled that his remarks constituted incitement to religious hatred, while the priest's defense argued that he was merely expressing a theological position within freedom of religion and speech. The decision has ignited debate across Europe, with many concerned that expressing their beliefs could increasingly lead to prosecution. The case is expected to be appealed, and church leaders are calling for renewed reflection on the line between religious expression and state censorship. The new leader of the Anglican Protestant Church is a woman. Sarah Mullally was recently named the new Archbishop of Canterbury, 10 years after women were first allowed to become bishops. Her appointment has led to division in the Anglican communion. Many Anglican provinces, especially in Asia and Africa, have voiced strong opposition, and some have even formally split off from the rest of the Anglican Protestant Church, saying they no longer recognize the authority of the Archbishop of Canterbury. They argue that the decision violates long-standing theological and scriptural traditions, and that the move to make Mullally the new Archbishop of Canterbury further divides an already divided communion. The walls of Canterbury Cathedral have been graffitied, but not at night and secret as you might think. They were graffitied with the express permission of the rector of Canterbury Cathedral as a controversial graffiti-style art installation inside the historic sanctuary. The artwork, featuring abstract imagery and social justice slogans, was intended to represent inclusivity and dialogue with contemporary culture. However, many have pointed out that spraying the walls of one of Christianity's oldest cathedrals with graffiti disrespects its sacred heritage. Together with the recent appointment of a woman Archbishop of Canterbury, the decision has divided both Anglicans and the general public, leading to backlash over how far the Anglican Protestant Church has gone in embracing progressive messaging. Friends, we'd be really interested in knowing what you think about this week's stories. Don't hesitate to take a few moments to write something down in the comments section. As a thank you, here's a picture of a koala. There's been a significant victory for religious liberty in the United States. The Washington state government has officially repealed a law that might have led to the imprisonment of priests who refused to break the seal of confession. Senate Bill 5375 would have required them to report child abuse even when the information was obtained in the sacrament of confession. Strangely, the law would have preserved confidentiality for attorneys, counselors, and addiction sponsors, but refused to do so for priests. Luckily though, after much public pressure, lawmakers conceded that no priest should ever be forced to betray a penitent, acknowledging the seal's absolute nature in Catholic doctrine. There are fewer youth identifying as transgender this year. According to new data from the American College Health Association, only 3.6% of college students now identify as transgender this year, down from 5.2% in 2024. Some have suggested that the shift appears to be tied to improvements in mental health. Anxiety and depression rates, which had spiked during the pandemic, have begun to decline as well. In Armenia, Archbishop Mikhail Ajepakhyan has been sentenced to 2 years in prison after criticizing government policies. He was accused by the Armenian state of calling for the overthrow of the government, though church leaders insist that the archbishop had been merely voicing criticism of state policy and exercising his right to free speech. The Armenian Apostolic Church has denounced the ruling as an attempt to silence religious voices. Unfortunately, this was not the first political arrest of a church figure. Archbishop Bagrat Galstanian was arrested earlier this summer for the same reason. Supporters have rallied in prayer around his diocese, calling for his release and for greater respect for freedom of expression. A sweeping new survey has uncovered a sharp generational split among U.S. Catholic clergy. According to the National Study of Catholic Priests, younger priests, those ordained after 2000, consider themselves to be more theologically and politically conservative, and to prioritize Eucharistic devotion, while older priests often identify as progressive. Only 8% of those ordained after 2000 accept the label progressive, while 70% describe themselves as conservative or orthodox. In contrast, among priests ordained before 1975, 70% call themselves progressive. Still, both groups expressed strong trust in Pope Leo XIV and deep commitment to pastoral service. 86% say they have a great deal of trust in him, while only 1% say they have very little. And that's it for this week's edition of Church Headlines. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and God bless.